And let's just settle into our meditation posture. And where am I? Ooh. Okay, so just check how you're landing this evening. Check your mind. Check what it is you're bringing into your meditation practice. And is it serving you? Maybe you just want to leave it outside the door? Or maybe we can just pop it into a little helium balloon and just let it float off. So checking your body, your feet, sits bones, align your shoulders with your hips and lengthen your spine. Head is slightly tipped forward. And then just release any tension from the head all the way down to the toes. And bring the mind to the breath as you just focus on the sensations of the air as they're flowing in and out of the nostrils, or perhaps the sensation of the belly rising and falling, or the chest rising and falling. And then just be aware if there are any sounds in your environment. Are they distracting you? So try not to follow the sound with your mind. Try not to run off and investigate the sound with your mind. Bring the mind back to the breath. And again, notice the thoughts that are arising. And you could label them as thinking, or perhaps a story, perhaps anxiety, perhaps memory, perhaps future tripping. And then maybe you can put these thoughts on a little white fluffy cloud and send it off. Or put it in a helium balloon, let it go. Whatever image works for you. And bring to mind the people of our life, our loved ones, the ones we don't like so much, and then those people who are strangers to us, remembering these relationships can change place at any time. And they're all equal in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering, and in having this extraordinary capacity for an enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life. And we're now in what is the 49th day of Rinpoche's passing. So in a way, for many people at Kopan, it's a very special day. Many prayers and practices are being done, pujas are being done here, sog offering. So you can think of Rinpoche and just again pray for Rinpoche's swift return. And then think of our precious Hin, who's just so courageously turns up for our meditations, despite how she's feeling. So just you can imagine she's here with us on the Zoom. Perhaps you can put her next to you. So we never know how long any of us have left. But remembering every single one of us have a life, and everyone is precious. Our life is precious. So if someone's not able to do their practices for some reason or other, we can do them on their behalf. So we think of that for Hin because she's so dedicated. So remembering there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind so we can equally change it by creating positivity instead. So just think like this: sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything that you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we ourselves will experience. We know from our present suffering that we don't want it. So logically, we want to remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us. We purify ourselves by relying upon his methods. So you imagine Vajrasattva is above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. You can imagine, see here we have a beautiful image of Vajrasattva, but it's paint. It's a picture, a photograph of a painted tanka. So you imagine that same image on the crown of your head, but you can imagine it as a light body. So like a three-dimensional hologram above the crown of your head. Now, if a visualization like that is difficult for you, you can just imagine white light. Just a ball of white light. And if that is even difficult, try and just feel the energy of this kind of light, holy light being above the crown of your head. So he is made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has this beautiful radiant face. His eyes are long, they're shaped like lotus petals. And he's very peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a vajra, which represents indestructibility of compassion. And then being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of the people that you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginning this time. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual practice of, this is the medicine, doing the practice. So you imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. Then it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopatita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinopatita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with the body. So next is a purification of speech, and Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida Miboa, Sutokaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anorakta Miboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajamami Mutta Vajabala Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hompe, Ambajasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajasapa Dina Patita, Dida Miboa, Sutokaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anorakta Miboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajabala Mahasamaya Satva Ah Hompe Ambajasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anorakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajabala Mahasamaya Satva Ah Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anorakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anorakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. So also will be yourself, because your speech will be pure, you'll be wise, you'll know exactly the right thing to say, the most appropriate thing to say, kindest thing to say. So next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. This arcs around, enters your crown, and fills your entire being. So it's the same as when you flick on a light switch in a room that's dark. It instantly dispels the darkness. So the same here, the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and depression and anger and violence and bitterness and grudges and anxieties, all of this instantly dispelled with this mantra and this light. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutukaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anorakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anorakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satva Ah Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anorakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satva Ah Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anorakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satva Ah Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anorakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satva Ah Hompe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anorakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satva Ah Hompe
and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. And think there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. So as we recite the mantra again, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Tira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have now been removed. So next is a power of resolve, and this is the fourth and really crucial step in the purification process. And this is just this determination to not harm with our body, speech, and mind. I mean, in the text it says again, but I know that is not realistic. It's not realistic for me, and I imagine others as well. So we do day by day, we do second by second, we do moment by moment. So we make a determination, a decision. This is what I'm going to work on, is not harming others. And then, of course, we're going to trip up and fall over and pull ourselves up again and go dust ourselves off, and we'll start again. And that's just how it's going to be as we are rewiring our brain. And this is what we are quite literally doing. This is affecting us energetically, psychologically, spiritually, and at a neurological level. So it's amazing. So just rejoice in your efforts, your practice, whatever it is you're working on. And let's just dedicate. Imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think my Guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty, and they don't exist from their own side. You also think that perhaps the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So for His Holiness, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa, I think this is Leilong Rinpoche's one, maybe. Lamp of the Galen teachings, the supreme refuge, Lama Zopa has departed in order to rouse the Dharma disciples who cling to permanence. Supreme Being, you took upon yourself the Kadam teacher's way of life and were bound to it day and night and day, greatly benefiting the teachings and transmigratory beings. Great Master of the teachings, supreme guide for East and West, hidden yogi, Lama Tupten Zopa. Unrivaled Lama Zopa, you took His Holiness, the Sovereign, Lord of the Victorious Ones, as your crown and followed all his instructions. Benefactor Lama Zopa, for the many public and personal needs of Tibetans and others, you opened the vase of resources and cleared away the suffering of hardship. One of great mind, Lama Zopa, you held helpless and voiceless animals with a mind of loving kindness and with their holy savior and protector. Siddha Lama Zopa, Lord of oceans of mandalas, with the wings of emptiness and compassion, you crossed the waters of the generation and completion stages. Lama Tupten Zopa, great hidden yogi, ornament of the activities of the Galen teachings, in truth a great son of the victorious ones. Having thought of me and other transmigratory beings of this degenerate age, from your seat of lotus and sun at the heart of Sangwa Yeshi, may the jewel that fulfills all wishes, emanating again with the brilliance of 10,000 suns, smile swiftly and without obstacles to our eyes filled with tears of faith. For Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to use kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request, O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe Shera, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Just as well, that's not a very long prayer to have to remember. Hey. All right, everybody. Good night. Lots of love, sweet dreams, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay, so that's 9 people here tonight. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Lots of love.